5 years ago, Renfield awakes and prepares himself for the day ahead, getting dressed and then entering his son's bedroom, where he is being attended by doctors and nurses, having an unknown illness which seems to worsen. He tells his wife, "I'm sure he'll pull through. He's got to. I mean, he has to get better. I'm worried, Thomas. I know, darling, I know. But just have faith. We will find the money and we will get him well again." Renfield then goes out to his place of work, and then, by the end of his working day, has a drink in a local pub, where he is approached by Dracula, who is old and weary, saying, "I can save him." "What?" "I can save your child. I've been watching you for some time, looking for a favor." "You can save my son?" "Yes. Give him this. He should recover quite rapidly," as he gives him a small bottle of what looks to be blood. Renfield does so by giving his son the blood, and then the next morning he sees that he has recovered overnight and is well and on the mend. He then sees Dracula again, saying, "How could I ever repay you?" "You can repay me, Mr. Renfield. I will call a favor in time. And when you do, you will do so for me." Dracula then puts on his hypnotic eyes, putting Renfield in a trance, saying, "You will serve me as part of payment, if you will, for saving your son. And you will consume some of my blood, so we will always have a telekinetic connection, even when I am afar." Renfield replies and says, "Yes, master." 5 years later, Whitby, 1897, Renfield arrives in Whitby town, where it is dark. He then walks into an alleyway where Dracula waits for him, saying, "Ah, Renfield, master, I trust you have soil from my last visit installed for me." "Yes, master, just as you instructed." "Are we to return to London?" "Not quite. I have my eye on someone at the moment. In fact, it was today, when I arrived in the early hours of the morning before the sun rised. I was strolling through the town and saw two young women. One of them resembled someone from my forgotten past. So we shall rest here for the night, master? Yes, Renfield. Also, there is someone who is on to me. He survived the voyage, and I just hope he does not stop me, as he carries my blood too. Oh, I see, master. So did you have a pleasant voyage here? For the most part, yes. But there is one survivor, one witness. Abraham, his name is. Abraham Van Helsing. The next day, Van Helsing wakes, writing a telegram to his fiancée, and then preparing for the day as he shaves and washes and dresses, keeping vigilant, hunting and waiting for Dracula to see if he can find him. Meanwhile, in Whitby town, Mina Harker, walking with her friend Lucy, saying, "Oh, I do worry. It's been a few weeks now, and Jonathan still hasn't come back, or let alone sent a telegram." "I'm sure he'll be fine," said Lucy. "Anyway, the opera is this evening, and it is our last night here. I think we should make the most of it and try and find out something when we get back to London. Of course, of course." Lucy and Mina attend the opera, where in their booth they are greeted by Dracula, saying, "Good evening, ladies. I have a seat here in this booth. I hope you do not mind my presence." "Oh, not at all, sir." "Please, call me Dracula." "Oh, well, my name's Lucy, and this is my friend Mina Murray." "Ah, what a pleasure it is. So you like the opera?" "Yes, we do. It's our last night here. We're heading back home to London tomorrow." "So it is the last night in Whitby for you. I too am going to London. I purchased a property there, Carfax Abbey." "What are you doing in Whitby?" "Well, I like to sightsee. Also, that ship, the Demeter, it was quite a terrible incident with all the dead bodies they found on board." "Yes, absolutely frightful. We try to avoid things like that during our holiday," said Mina. "Of course." As the evening went on, Dracula escorted the two young women and said, "You know, my dear ladies, do you have transport to London tomorrow?" "Well, we're hoping to get a carriage," said Lucy. "Why not come on my private coach? I can take you there. After all, we are heading to London, and you can even keep me company in my carriage." "You have a carriage there?" "I've personally reserved one, but it is quite a big carriage for just one man to be on his own." "Of course, yes. Well, good night, Dracula." Lucy then goes into her room. As she does, he says to him, "Oh, and you're more than welcome to come in at any time you want, Count."
"Thank you, I shall take that into consideration."
He then walks Mina to her room, saying, "Well, thank you for the evening, Mr. Dracula. But
You're a woman of such beauty. So beautiful.
Yes, it's just... I'm engaged to be married. He should have been back by now, and I'm getting very worried about him.
Your fiancé?
Yes, his name's Jonathan Harker. He went out on a business trip and I haven't heard from him.
I'm sure he will be fine, wherever he is. Good night.
Good night.
Then, as Dracula leaves the hotel, Renfield appears going,
So, did you get what you wanted from them, master?
Yes, I have my sights particularly on Mina. Come, we must prepare for our journey in the morning.
Don't you sleep during the day, master?
I do, but I shall stay awake. Although I am not in my strongest by day, it only weakens me. I can still host myself to the young ladies.
Of course.
Meanwhile, Van Helsing watches from a distance, hiding, making sure that Dracula is who he thinks he to be, as he only ever saw Dracula in his bat-like form on the ship. Studying him, learning about him, remembering the old tales his mother and grandmother used to tell him as a child, saying, I will kill you. I will make you suffer for the death of all those people. The next morning, Mina and Lucy are greeted by Dracula as he takes them to the train station, and they board his train and make their way to London. Meanwhile, in a third-class carriage, Van Helsing sits and waits patiently, hoping that Dracula does not do anything until they get off the train. They arrive in London as Renfield carries the cases and says, This way, master. The two young women, Mina and Lucy, say, Why is he calling you master? Oh, he tends to my needs, you know. He is a good lawyer as well.
I'm thinking he looks familiar. He runs Renfield and Sons firm. I think my husband worked for him. I don't know, I get pretty much wrapped up in my fiance's work.
I'm sure he is fine, wherever he is. The two girls are then surprised and greeted by two young gentlemen, Arthur and Quincy, saying, Ladies, good to see you.
Ah, Quincy, Arthur. Oh, this is one of our new friends we met on our holiday. Dracula, he's bought a property here.
Good day, gentlemen.
Oh, foreign accent, said Quincy.
Yes, I'm from Transylvania.
Oh, I hear there's a lot of folklore there about vampires and that. You wouldn't happen to be one, would you?
Oh, Quincy, enough. I'm sure this man has his matters to attend to. I do. I hope to see you two ladies very soon. Remember the address. Carfax Abbey.
Of course. And like I said,
Dracula, you're welcome at my place any time, said Lucy. Of course. Where does it you live? Oh, well, my address, I'll tell you that. As she tells Dracula, Quincy and Arthur then tell Mina, we haven't heard much from Jonathan. We can only assume he's still in Romania. Just be patient, my love. I'm sure he'll be fine. Yes, of course. Then, as Mina returns home, Lucy also returns home, where she is greeted by Dr. Seward. Ah, Lucy, my dear, did you have a good holiday in the North Yorkshire? Yes, I did, thank you. Ah, it's so good to be home, though. I bet it is. Well, I hope to see you this evening for dinner. Of course. As the day comes to an end and the night draws in, Lucy has supper with Dr. Seward and then bids him good night. As she goes to bed to sleep, Dracula, now at full power with the lights of the full moon and the darkness, Dracula then turns into a full, complete bat, flying over London town. He then goes up to the window, where he knows Lucy is sleeping after she told him where she lives, with her guardian father figure, Dr. Seward. Dracula then reverts to his human-like form, looking at her, with his fangs out and his lust for blood. He then goes over to her and bites into her neck and drinks her blood. The next morning, as a maid comes to wake Lucy, she then says, "Are you all right, love? You look very pale." "Yes, I just feel completely drained." Oh, I better get Dr. Seward on. Dr. Seward, it's Lucy. She doesn't seem too well. Strange, she was fine and well yesterday. Are you all right there, my dear? Fine, I'm just very weak and tired. Yes, well, I'm a doctor of the mind, not a physical one, but I'm sure we can provide you with a doctor. Didn't you study medicine once? I did, but that's before I had my true passion for the mind. I must go to work. You just rest for today, Lucy. Meanwhile, in London town centre, Dracula then sees Mina again, saying, "We meet again, Miss Murray." "Ah, Dracula, it's nice to see you." "You're not with your friend?" "No, she's apparently ill." What are you doing around this place?" "Well, I'm just trying to keep myself occupied for when my fiancé comes home." "Ah, yes, Jonathan, yes?" "Yes." "I thought so. Well, would you like to accompany me to lunch?" "Lunch?" "Yes, it is all on me. We could go to a nice pub." "Okay." Dracula and Mina then sit in the pub and talk to one another. Whilst Mina has her food given to her, she asks Dracula, "Aren't you going to get anything?" "I do not like to dine in the presence of others. I hope you can understand, but I do not mind sitting you watching and you enjoying your food. Okay. Are you sure you don't want anything? No, it is fine. I will stick to this wine I have. Meanwhile, Lucy's condition worsens as she has lost a lot of blood. Then, Seward hears a knock on the door. He then sees it's Van Helsing saying, "Do I know you, boy? Dr. Seward? It's me, Abraham Van Helsing. Ah, yes, a fine student you were, I remember now. What brings you here?" "Well, forgive the intrusion, but I got word that the young woman you looked after, she's not well, and I am a doctor after all." "Ah, so you've gone up in the medical profession. Well, if you can see her, that would be quite helpful." "Yes." Van Helsing examines her and says, "She has been drained of blood, yes. She has 2 puncture marks on her neck." "Well, how did she get those?" said Seward. "I don't know, but I think I do have an idea of what it is. You see, I never believed in any of the supernatural until recently. I've been hunting this thing down." "Thing?" "This monster. I was on the last voyage of the Demeter." "You mean that ship that got washed up in Whitby? What were you doing on that?" "Trying to get home." "Listen, as strange as this sounds, we must cover her room with garlic." "Garlic?" "Yes, garlic. It's a repellent for vampires." "Do you realize how insane you sound?" said Seward. "You sound like a mental patient, like one of my mental patients." "Yes, but just trust me on this one, okay? You always said you were willing to learn from your students as well. Well, if you insist, there should be garlic in the cellar." "Great. Do you have anyone who can help? I could call in Quincy and Arthur. They could assist you. I must return to my place of work. I have patients to attend to." "Of course." Van Helsing, with the help of Quincy and Arthur, decorate Lucy's room with garlic, saying, "What's this again?" "It's a remedy I learnt from, which can help with her condition." "What is it exactly, her condition?" said Arthur. "Oh, it's quite complex, but I assure you, this garlic will keep her safe." "All right, then." Then Van Helsing leaves Lucy to rest. As for Van Helsing, he goes out as the night comes in again, saying, "What are you doing exactly?" "I'm hunting for a monster." "A monster? Do you realize how bonkers you sound?" said Quincy and Arthur. "Yes, well, I need to find this demon. I've been tracking him. It's only a matter of time before he slips up, and when he does, I will kill him." Van Helsing begins to walk the streets as the night draws in. Meanwhile, Dracula, he escorts Mina home, saying, I had quite a nice day today. Thank you for taking your mind away from my worries. Of course, my dear. I trust you will be all in good heart. Yes, well, good evening, Dracula. Good evening, Mina. Dracula then sees Mina into the house, unable to enter as she hasn't invited him in, but he then gets the feeling, I will have you for my bride. As he gets into his carriage, Renfield says, "What is it you like about this young lady?" said Renfield. "All she is the fiancée of one of my employers." Yes, well, she has the likeness and the face of someone I once knew in a life. Life where you was human, master? Yes. Now, drive past the Seward's estate. I wish to feed again. Yes, master. Meanwhile, as Lucy sleeps, the maid comes in. Disgusted by the smell of all the garlic, she then, unaware of the reason why it's there, removes all the garlic and gets rid of it. Meanwhile, Dracula flies over to her window and takes on his human form. But as he's by the window, he still smells the scent of garlic, which to him is disgusting. But with a part of Lucy's blood in him, he then calls out, saying, "Lucy, you will come to me." Lucy gets out of bed and makes her way to Dracula. In a trance, she tilts her head, and Dracula resumes feeding on her, despite the smell of garlic everywhere. Meanwhile, Mina's housemaid then says, Miss Murray, you've got a telegram from your fiancé, Jonathan. Jonathan? Oh, thank goodness." She then reads the telegram, stating that he is fine and well and is recovering in a Budapest hospital. Then, wanting to then go to Budapest, her maid insists that she should prepare herself more and make her way there by tomorrow, as it's too late now. Meanwhile, Van Helsing, Arthur and Quincy return, where Dr. Seward is sat by the fireplace going, "Gentlemen, what's going on here? Weren't you supposed to be treating my dear Lucy?" "Yes, Dr. Seward. I trust she's fine." "Yes." Abraham then makes his way up to her bedroom, where he opens the door and finds the garlic is all gone, saying, "What the fuck? What happened to the garlic?" "Where is the garlic?" shouted Abraham. The maid comes and says, I got rid of that horrible stuff. It left a terrible stench." "You don't know what you've done." He then looks and sees Lucy laid on her bed, but noticing she is pale and white and that she is dead, then Dr. Seward then goes, "Oh my goodness, what's happened?" "I'm sorry, but the creatures took all of her blood. She's dead." "What?" "I'm sorry, Dr. Seward. I know she was like a daughter to you, but now you must believe me when I say there is a vampire, and I will catch this son of a bitch. Oh, Lucy, Lucy, my poor dear Lucy, I promised her parents I would look after her regardless. And now she's dead. Oh, she's dead. The next morning, as Mina packs and prepares for her journey to Budapest, she then has a knock on the door. It's Arthur, with a sad look on his face, saying to Mina, "I'm terribly sorry, my dear, but it's Lucy. Her condition worsened and she's gone." "What?" "She's gone. I'm sorry. She's just dead." "Oh no. Oh, my poor friend. What's going to happen?" "Well, Seward is preparing the funeral. We should be able to put her to rest tomorrow. Can you put all your plans to Budapest on hold just till then? I hear you had a telegram off Jonathan and that he's alive and well." "Yes." "Oh, my poor Lucy, can I see her?" "That would probably not be best." The next day comes, and Lucy has her funeral. As she is lowered into the grave, Dr. Seward then says, "Well, Abraham, I guess there are many things I can still learn from a former pupil of mine. If this vampire is true, then I will help you hunt this monster." "Yes, me too," said Quincy. "I also," said Arthur. Of course. "Thank you," said Abraham. As the funeral dies down, Mina still remains, looking down at Lucy's grave. There she is then greeted by Dracula, saying, "I heard about your friend. I am so terribly sorry. She just went unexpectedly. I guess you could use the company of a man right now." "Not really. You're a nice, kind gentleman, Dracula, but I have a fiancé. He's in Budapest and I'm going there in the morning. I'm flattered that you like me, but our relationship can't go any further than just a friend. After all, I've only known you for a little time." "But for you, for me it feels like a lifetime." "I'm sorry, Count, but I must head back to Budapest. Well, back to my home first, and I think I might go to Budapest tonight." "Of course. Good luck, Mina." As for Dracula, he then starts to cry, tears of blood. Then, out of the darkness, Renfield appears, going, "Are you okay, master?" "She does not remember me. She doesn't even know who she was in her past life. But she is coming for her fiancé, Jonathan." "Her fiancé, Jonathan?" "Yes. We must ready ourselves. For when she returns, I plan to make her my bride." "Oh, of course, master. What about Miss Lucy here?" "She will be fine. She cannot be that far off from completing a transition. Let us go, Renfield. I am feeling rather hungry. I'm craving the blood of a child tonight. Oh, yes. Yes, master. Dracula and Renfield then leave the cemetery. Meanwhile, deep down in Lucy's grave, where she sleeps, her eyes then open, revealing a red bloodshot eyes, and her mouth opens, revealing sharp fangs, as she is now a vampire.